I'm Vince Briel. It's Javier Rivera. We are, I guess, the dynamic duo. First, before I get started, I would like to thank all my friends, especially Sean Fahey. If it were not for his generous gift, this project would not have taken place. He's been a true inspiration, and his kindness inspired me to do this project. So last year during Kfest, Sean had gifted me a 2C, and it was a discussion of what do we do with this? What hasn't been done with a 2C? And so we said, well, has a truly portable 2C ever been made? Like a laptop, but something that you could actually just attach to the 2C to make it an add-on type project. And research showed, buggies, portable power supply option, but nothing that you could carry the 2C around and use it in your patio or anywhere you want. So we went home from Kfest, and Javier and he'd already been designing.
I've been working on the flats monitor. Remember the one that I created? I converted to color, and I was also doing it in 3D to make more. But that's that's not the right kind of monitor that we want. So we went ahead. It's okay. We went ahead and that's it. They're not going to do that.
You want to hear?
Okay. No, I'm good.
Okay.
It won't be on the streets.
So Javier, like he said, he had already been working on a monitor, but nothing that was going to attach. Just more of a flip up, monitor for modern LCD. And so with his artistic work in progress, we set out to make a 2C portable. And months of collaboration, file exchanges, probably 20 iterations. We had different points of view on whether the screen should be widescreen or 4:3, things like that. So there's still a lot of room to go out there and change the files and make whatever you want. This will be a GitHub project that I'll post later on today. And you'll be able to go download the 3D files if you want to print your own. And this is more or less the starting point for what is totally possible. So, we had some things that were, goals that we had set out. It had to fit in the factory case. It had to get rid of this. And it had to be able to last for at least 2 hours. And there were some other goals that we worked with. You had to be able to open the handle all the way and use it with it up. And so we went through, and with a lot of work, we created the 2C portable. We're going to hope I didn't break it when I hit the wall earlier. So on that. This is the Apple IIc portable. I'll hold it up. Everybody see? So let's see. I don't have anywhere extended to put it up, so we'll just set it right here. And it folds up like this. And it's 100% portable. I don't call it a laptop because it's, it's not really a laptop, it's a portable 2C. So I want to make sure everybody can.
Move it up and move it around.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So this was a labor of love. This is a one-off. This is the only one in existence at the moment. But like I say, the files are going to be out there. Most of the components acquired right off Amazon. Yep. So this is, anybody could make this. It started off, for the battery was just an external, just a portable battery pack that was a 12-volt power source. I did a little rewiring of it, added a separate switch to the back. I'm using the DVI port, I'm sorry, not DVI, but the digital video port. And so let's see here. What else can I say about it? It lasts about 2 hours on testing, where you can use the disk drive at random rates, and so it gets pretty good runtime. And let's see, that gives us a little bit more room. Let's see, we can have a floppyemu, we can have a joystick, we can have the huge power source for it, and we can also store a mouse now. So you can carry all this now in your bag, which you couldn't do before because there was not enough room. Because
Yeah, maybe a FujiNet too.
yeah, enough room for FujiNet.
Yep.
There's really not a lot. I'm going to put this out on display in the main hall so people can look at, play with, break. This is the early monitor that Javier was working on.
No.
And this is what we based the portable off of. And this was our starting point, and this is where we're at this point. So I'm looking at the 2C Plus in the future. And there could be a lot more that we could do with this. So like I said, I'm going to make everything open source on GitHub. And I'd like to see people pick this up and see what they can do with it.
Room for improvement, there's space in the base.
Yeah. There's room in the battery tray where you can add things, right? So I think at this point we're probably going to have a few questions maybe.
So how much was the total BOM cost?
I would say, you're looking at probably one spool of plastic. The monitor's under $100. The battery's $40. The miscellaneous components, another $20. So definitely under $200 to make it. Way in the back.
Hi. Is there any maybe idea about selling this as a kit, or is just the idea where it's basically here's the build of materials, go here, buy it, put it together?
Yep. So I'm going to make this open source. I'm sorry? Is there any plans to produce this, right? I do not have plans to produce this. I'm retired from making things for sale any longer, but if somebody wishes and has the ability to pick up the project and would like to make, I know we've seen some clear cases for the twos, so maybe a color matching, is definitely a possibility. If somebody wants to pick that torch up, we encourage it. That's what we want to see. Yep. This is being put out there so that people have the ability to either make their own or maybe make more. So, all right. It's okay.
So is the video display, is it a composite?
This is the composite video. This is not, so yeah, like I said, there's room for improvement. This is just simply the composite video off the port, not off of the RCA jack. So it's a cleaner signal. It was good enough for this project, which was to generate a portable 2C. But there is definitely the ability to add a VGA port, and the monitor I used is multi-type, so it has a VGA, HDMI, everything. So.
How is charging work? You run it while you're taking the battery out to charge it.
No, you leave it in. There's a port in the back that you plug in, and it's just a standard 2.1 DIN, and this is how you would charge it.
Okay. And can you leave the machine on if the battery's?
Yep. You can run it. You can run it plugged in, and charging at the same time. So.
There's just to add a little bit more. There's some ideas that we're having about having VGA maybe, or some kind of color shifting, and we would like to have green screens, all these things, capability to switch resolutions on all these. So yes, we are open for that.
Yeah, and there's room to incorporate something like your project into this. So yeah, way in the back row.
You said it runs about 2 hours on the battery? How long does it take to charge the battery?
It runs about 2 hours. The question is how long? It runs about 2 hours. How long does it take to charge the battery? It takes a few hours, right? So I would say probably about 3 or 4. So, question?
Do you have to mod the 2C to add this onto it?
You do not have to mod the 2C. This is actually, let me close this so I don't break it. This is actually multi-beat pieces. This is what I call the belt right here. And it's simply, you replace the 2 screws that are used for the disk drive and with 1/4 inch longer screws. So there's no glue, no tape, no drilling, nothing. And it's fully supported by the rim and everything like that, so it won't fall off. So, and you can see it's been cut so you can completely open the handle for view. So you can set it down and use it that way. Now, one of the other options I didn't get implemented would have been like maybe a little button switch so it automatically turns the monitor off if you close it. That would be nice. So I also didn't, we didn't add the battery status lights, but it's on the battery pack that could have been added. So there's room for improvement, right? This is what I would call a prototype.
First iteration, yep.
Yeah, first iteration, right? And I'm putting this out there as kind of a proof of concept that this can be done. I was actually kind of surprised that nobody's done this, right? This wasn't rocket science here. This was pretty simple stuff. So, but all right, any?
So the power is cut off between the battery and simultaneously the screen and the power. The power goes from the battery to the power plug in the back?
Yes. So the power goes, it goes in, it goes to the battery pack, and then out to, it goes through the switch, and then out to the computer and the monitor from there.
Is that what the 2C Plus is? You've got both models there, right? Is that what you're showing?
Yeah, but this is just to show, how does it work?
It's
with the
connected
2C
directly
Plus?
right now.
This is just for the 2C at this time. The 2C Plus has a built-in power supply, so we would have to replace that and maybe possibly put the battery inside, and I think that may have already been done by somebody. So it wouldn't be that difficult to make a 2C Plus version.
Probably a little lighter, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be removing the onboard power supply and replacing it with a Little John.
Like the most torque 2C.
Yeah. Is your monitor also drawing power from the video port?
No, and the reason I did, okay, so the question is the monitor drawing power from the video port? And the answer to that is no. And now you can do that, and it has been done as he's doing.
I'm doing it right
here.
now.
The problem with that is if you look at the specs on the video port, it's not enough to power it. It will. There's a potential to overdraw on that port and cause problems. So I just go ahead and do it right off the battery. So it's safer.
What's the battery chemistry?
I'm sorry?
Is it lithium ion?
Yes, it's lithium ion, 12,000 milliamp. Yeah.
So when you see the Apple IIc, there is a power and adapt power conditioning unit.
Okay.
Which refers to like 15,
Mm-hmm.
30 to 12, 15,
Yep.
or do you think maybe replacing that to using that space and
To reduce the size. Okay. So the question is, there's a built-in, like a voltage regulation within the 2C to change that input, which a 2C runs, I believe, 18.5 volts, 15 volts. I remember now, but and then it conditions it down to 12 volts, right? And can you maybe eliminate that? But I wanted to create something that use the space. Then that's possible, right? But it would require opening the case and things like that. This simply slides on the back and clamps on. So this is, like I said, this is just a simple slide-on
Plug and play.
application. Yep.
Plug and play, basically. Yeah.
Yep.
can you speak a little bit about the screens, like and modes that it supports, and also like that other screen that is on the Plus seems to be kind of nice and large. So
Yep.
why did you like choose the wide screen versus the other one? Is it like scarcity?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And so why did I choose this screen and why not this screen? And that's the debate, right? I had this screen at my house. So I decided to just start tearing it apart and using it. It is in 4x3 mode. So one of the things is that I did was, as you power up most monitors, it tells you what mode it's in, because this is a multi-mode monitor, and you have NTSC, you have VGA, HDMI, BNC, right? So the mode displays at the bottom, but by simply bringing the plastic up a little bit higher, you don't even see that when you power it on. So the other issue I ran into was the plastic is semi-translucent, shall I say? So the backlight actually was shining through, and it didn't look good, right? So I ended up using just simply duct tape. Can't tell, you know, and it worked. It was effective, and
Yeah, and this is iPad LCD.
yeah.
So
So, yeah, and this is where we had the creative differences, and we thought, well, maybe we could make two versions,
Yeah.
right? And we essentially did. This is not finished. This was the early stage, and I went ahead and I jumped in and
yeah,
finished it.
you finish it faster than me. That's
I
true.
wanted to get it done. I had a lot of projects this year, I guess, so I wanted to get it done. And, you know, I wanted it to be functional, easy, and have that kind of cool factor, right? I mean, I think this is, you know, the only one, I've never seen anything like this, so, to be honest with you. So I thought it was something that's well overdue for the 2C line, right? To make it fully portable.
So Vince,
Yeah.
if I take your 2C to my favorite coffee shop,
Yeah.
like the hipster I am, and if there's I get that there's like a wall wart for recharging the lithium-ion battery pack, and the screen is powered directly from the battery, and the battery feeds is the voltage regulator for the computer. But if I just want to like plug it into the mains power at the shop and
Yep, so you'll be drawing, you'll still be drawing out the battery, but it'll be replenishing it a little bit while you're
Recharging.
using it.
well, if I just charge, I just plug the regular cord into the regular socket.
No, I covered that.
You probably wouldn't want that because it's a
Well, you can't.
power brick on a leash, right?
Yeah,
You wouldn't want to take
okay,
But
so
you
the
still
question
couldn't
is.
anyway, yeah.
The question is, instead of using the battery pack, for example, so.
Show it, yeah.
Yeah, let me show it. So this is kind of an ugly prototype version. This is plugged in to the power in, right? And then it goes in and connects to the battery pack.
Right.
Right, and then, so you could unplug this and plug in that nasty brick if you wanted to, but the whole purpose was to get rid of 6
Correct.
pounds or whatever that weighs of weight, and the availability in your bag to carry other accessories to work from, right? So, so you just plug this in, and it'll keep your battery charged.
Okay, so everything always runs off the battery while the unit is connected.
So, right now, we can go ahead while it's live and plug in.
So just be charging simultaneously.
Correct. What it will do, it will be charging while still using the battery.
So I'm charging while plugged in and turned on.
So now do you have unlimited runtime?
Correct.
Well, yes. Well, you should, but it could be draining more than it's actually charging. It's not a supersized brick, right? So, but you're going to get way extended runtime. So if you want to be at your favorite coffee shop, for example, for 6 hours, you might be able to get that. So. But I've not done extensive testing on runtimes. I wrote a sample program that just sampled the drive about every minute or so. And once I hit that 1 hour point, I said, okay, we're getting somewhere. And then we hit 2 hours. And then shortly after 2 hours, it died out. So, and there is no warning, right? So save your work often.
saving drains the battery.
Yes.
Or you can now, you can in the middle of the right when it dies.
Yeah.
Then you've lost everything, last copy and your current copy.
Set that timer right next to it. Oh, let's see. So yeah, there's no warning as of yet. You know, there is the possibility to introduce a warning circuit, but on LiPo they run, and then they fall off.
Yep.
So, you know, it's there are status LEDs, you know, but it dipped down halfway. It showed dip down pretty far, but it still had a lot more life left in it. So. There's
dedicated ports for containing and charging the keys.
Yeah.
Cabinets. Sure.
Yeah. There's definitely room to add on to this. Buggy, what do you think?
What?
Yeah,
Flat screen? I think
Here.
it's pricey.
Uh-oh, it's still running and it's not plugged in.
Oh, okay.
Well, I guess it must have a battery hidden somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah, maybe there's new batteries in the future that can be used, isn't it? New technology.
Now,
So,
did you make
so
the flat
finally,
screen?
Dr. Haywood Floyd uses 2C at the beach.
The LCD is a Amazon monitor. So I'm going to post later on, I'm going to post the GitHub link, which shows you all the parts you can go get. There's about a $79 LCD that I stripped out of the case. I programmed it in 4x3, set the contrast, everything right, and then I unplugged the connector for the controller and put it in.
Only $79?
79 bucks for this.
Dollar.
Well, yeah. And then the battery pack was $40.
How does the screen do with 8 volt?
Ah, okay. Let's see. Let's just go ahead and
Show
turn
off.
it off. How does the screen do in 80 column mode? So we're going to take out this floppy. We'll turn it on. It's not going to boot up to anything. So we're in, and we'll do a PR number 3. Let's give it a few characters so you can see. And that's composite.
Very clean.
And if you come off the video port, you get the cleaner power,
Yeah.
or the cleaner video.
Yep.
Right. And I'm going to put this up there in the main lobby for everybody to break. I mean, and to play with.
Not break, just play.
How many hours do you expect out of the battery?
I ran a test program that sampled the disk drive about every minute or so, and I got about 2 hours.
Oh,
If you lend it to me, I'll give you some real world.
This thing ain't wrong.
Vince, what's the printing time on the case?
Oh, okay. So there are several parts. There's 2 parts to the LCD screen. What's the printing time to print these, right? First of all, you need about a 310 millimeter bed, 310 millimeter bed. Yeah, pretty large bed. The battery pack section took about 35 hours at pretty high speed. The front LCD is about 24 hours. The back of the LCD about the same. And then there's the belt, which is this. It's a separate part that goes around here that you put on. That takes about 12 hours. And then you have the smaller composite video connector and the smaller power port. Now the hard part is getting those DIN connectors, right? Only way I found those in the way I wanted was on Amazon in a 4-pack, 2 male, 2 female. So I'll have the link for that as well.
Printed in PLA or ABS?
PLA. Yep. So most standard large bed printers can print these. So the hinge is just simply a stainless steel rod, 440, nylon nuts with washers. Tighten it down. It starts to get loose, tighten it down more. Yeah, I kept it pretty simple. There's no springs or anything like that. But you know, it holds pretty well. So again, this is going to be, I'd like to see people say, hey, I did this with it, and I made this, and, you know, I added a little button here, so when you close the lid, it does.
Open for ideas, yeah. Mm-hmm.
We'd like to see this project take off and the community run with it, right? Because if you like the 2C as much as I do, this takes it to the next level, in my opinion.
Then that one that's made by Apple, it's got the factory emblem. How much do you think the factory flat flat, screen would cost if somebody was buying one? Well, they've always been kind of high, but I mean, how much is it now with inflation?
Yeah. And they were the 2C monitor. How much would a production Apple the monitors cost nowadays? We see those on eBay going for hundreds of dollars, hundreds of dollars. And this is a printed.
That's a 3D printed.
This is 3D printed, and he put the logo.
I put the logo in there.
Oh, really? Even with the emblem? Huh?
Yeah, see, he's the artist.
I'm expecting Apple to be suing me,
But is this one full color screen?
Yes?
Yep.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, both of these are.
Oh.
So this was the early concept of what we could do. We had difference of opinions on which monitor. I didn't want to have really wide sides because I didn't want it to look like a small screen in a big space, right? So I like the wider screen in 4:3 mode, and it's just a difference of it's just a difference of opinion on style, and so that was the good thing about collaboration, right?
Because it like kind of overlapping here.
So when you close it, what kind of overlap do you get? And as you can see, we made the Mac style, the first iteration Mac portable style thing, so the LCD doesn't hit the keyboard, and it closes.
Nice. Oh, there's a little space.
This was trial and error. 20 versions later, I got it right. So many man hours of printing and
6 months of printing,
marriage counseling and everything else, right? So, yeah.
How did you, so these LCDs, they have like preset modes that once you jump in and you turn it on, they're not very smart in remembering the modes, but how do you make it jump into the mode that you want, like zoom in the mode, or it just happens to be?
Yep, okay, so the question is, how do I make the LCD jump into the mode I want? This particular model has been very faithful at keeping the mode I've set, even when you shut it off, there's no power going to it, right? So I've had a couple of these now, and I know that it never changes that mode setting that you set it at. It really stores it in non-volatile.
Yeah. Most of them do that.
Yeah,
when you set it in one, it will stay there until you change it.
Until you change it, yep.
Does it come with a remote?
Some of them do.
Some of them do,
but we don't.
That would be like good if it forgets the mode. Yeah. And then you can use the remote without assembling the unit.
Yeah. I don't believe this particular one yours might have.
Mine comes with one.
Yeah, so you could actually change, the settings to,
But there's nothing to change over here. In this one, either you say HDMI, BGA, or AV.
Right.
And maybe brightness, and that's it. But you don't have too much to change. You cannot set width, height, or anything like that.
So, Javier, you mentioned something about iPad. Is it iPad LCD?
This is an iPad LCD.
But due to the driver,
Yeah, of course.
board, from the same
It's a AliExpress driver for an iPad.
Yeah.
iPad.
Yep.
And it takes the wheels.
Yep.
It comes with composite, HDMI, and BGA. So it has, you can use, actually has the entrance for an HDMI, so you could use other things, or BGA, and you could use Plamens and other solutions, So yes, you can add more stuff.
So is it a
You can. There's a lot of space to hide the Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
You can actually put a W drive if you want.
And you would have pumped the keyboard Pi to like have some TS going, but using the keyboard.
That is up to you.
Yeah, on Fantasy Island. No. So yeah, you can add things. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, you got a 2C plus with a touchscreen now, right?
Almost. We can touch the screen.
Yeah, touchscreen. No, yeah, see, touchscreen. So, like I said, this is kind of like stage one of this. I could have designed a LiPo charger board and gone through that, but what I wanted to set out to do was find over-the-counter parts that you could mod. Anybody could go get. You don't have to be an electronics expert to build this, right? You just have to go be dedicated to building something. So I did do a hack to the board where I used the external switch so that it shuts off power all the time. Otherwise, it would have had power. The monitor would have remained on even with the 2C off. And so it was a minor hack, right? And these are all over the counter or over the Amazon parts. I made it so other people can make this, right? And have. I'd like to see if somebody does it. I want to know, if you make improvements, let's get it out there, right? Because we're a small community. We're doing this for the community, right? And so let's make something that wasn't available for everybody, right? Yes.
And I think it really comes across that between this plug and play solution and between I create something basically from scratch like Apple IIgs portable, there are many steps in between and maybe many different ideas. What is the right thing for me? For example, if I were about it, I would think I want to remove the disk drives and use the space of the disk drive for the battery and have some modern flash-based solution instead of the heavy and power-hungry disk drive and slow disk drive, and rather use it for the battery, for example. But I think everybody has maybe a different idea. So I think the major point is to get this going. And now, as we have all seen this, these ideas come up in our heads, and I think this is the cool thing about it.
And I think this is what we call.
Repeat this.
I'm sorry. Well, what he said basically is that it's a good start to do this because some people would like to remove the floppy drive and take out the all those heavy parts and put more light parts and floppy emulators. But other people will think different. So this is a good thing about start with something and we can learn from this. And that's what we were talking about. We don't want to do feature creep. Because we were talking about, let's add this feature. But when you do that, you get nothing. Because you stay just planning all the time, all your life. So we did this. There's room for improvement, but that's what the community can take with.
Yep, exactly. And that's why we displayed both, his version, his iteration, and mine, because there's going to be 1,000 different opinions and thoughts of what to do with it. So I imagine that the GitHub could have, 100 different forks of iterations, right? And that's a good thing, right? Because then you can customize it and make what you want, right, with it. So, and that's the whole point, is to make something that it's got the features you want in there. And it's not difficult to remove the disk drive, save a little bit of power, right? Add in floppyemu or some of the other options, and probably could even have it, showing up on the in the battery pack area. There's plenty of room in there, and things like that. But I left this, and I had to make the notch so to make sure that the drive door could open and clear. I almost made another notch over there on that side to match, and I didn't. I just left it this way. I thought this was a good fit. So yeah, there's a lot of room for improvement and changes and designs, and we want to see it. I'd love to see people make something out of this. And any other questions? Yeah.
So I just thought of this. Have you stress tested it to the point of seeing if it gets hot with that surrounding the top vent?
I had it on. I didn't put the vents in the monitor. The C itself, I've run it on here. There's still enough open space where it can vent outward. So
I used these things for a long time, for a lot of things, and they never get hot, to be honest. They never, ever. So I'm very confident that they will last for days.
So the question was stress tested for heat. Are we blocking the ports on the the heat vents on the C and stuff like that? I've not run into any problems. I've run this for several hours, so I would not recommend, running it in your car in Phoenix without the air conditioning, with the magnifying glass pointed right on it. You might have butter in a few minutes. But yeah, there's issues obviously with PLA and your standard plastic. So, I would like to see, like some kind of closer to production concept to where people can make, actual, molded injection cases and things like that, right? So.
They make a plastic tube whose color is yellow.
So do they make a colored, Javier is the expert.
Non-retro bright color?
Non-retro bright color.
There's actually several PLA colors that are either close to the original or close to a very yellow, to see. So yeah, we can get them.
And that's the other thing too. Let's say you want to make a black 2C. You have the ability to print this in black. You can make it in orange. There's a lot of options out there for you. So. Other questions?
Did you essentially have to paint it to get it to be platinum? You couldn't print it as platinum. The color of that match. We have to paint it.
No, there's a platinum color PLA. Yeah.
Yeah, and this was just an off-the-shelf Amazon order color, which I thought was, ivory white, I believe, and it's pretty close.
Pretty close, yeah.
Is it perfect? No, but
it doesn't look bad.
Yeah, and one of the things I wanted to do was kind of recreate something that you could have gone into Computerland or an Apple store, well, pre-Apple stores, right? And bought a kit to add to your 2C.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, no, I didn't want to print a whole new case and make a laptop. That's almost sacrilegious for what I wanted to do. So.
All right.
Any more questions? I'm sure everybody wants to get a closer view of it, especially people in the back row. So I guess that's it. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, everybody.